To the midweek edition of The Conversation here on Lagos Television. I am Abimbola Bello.
Good morning. We are glad to be back on The Conversation. I am Ajibola Ojeshola.
Good morning and welcome to The Conversation. I am Joy Ulu.
Right, Joy. Hope you had a restful day yesterday.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, right. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Let's begin the show this morning by taking our news points this morning. Ajibola, let's start with you.
Okay, we are starting with politics. 2027 race. INEC recognizes Atiku for the 7 ADC candidates. Some relief coming for our ADC here. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has said it will recognize only the candidates submitted by the Senator David Mark-led leadership of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, confirming that the faction has already nominated candidates for the 471 elective positions ahead of the 2027 general election. INEC National Commissioner Mohamed Haruna told The Punch that the commission granted the Mark-led faction access to its nomination portal following the Supreme Court judgment affirming its leadership, adding that the rival faction had no legal basis to submit candidates. He said, and I'm quoting, "Yes, we gave the Mark-led faction the code based on the recent Supreme Court judgment that affirmed his leadership of the party, and the faction has since submitted most of its candidates for a total of 471 positions, presidential 2, senatorial 109, and House of Reps 360 constituencies. The court, however, did not say we should accept submission by the rival faction, which in any case had lost its appeal for recognition. The ADC, however, called for the investigation and prosecution of its factional leader, Nofiu Gombe, following INEC's clarification that claims that Gombe uploaded the party's candidate for the 2027 general election through the commission's portal were false. The Tuesday statement, signed by its National Publicity Secretary, Bolaji Abdullahi, followed INEC's clarification that it did not grant Bala access codes to its restricted nomination portal and that only the Mark-led National Executive Committee was recognized by the electoral body. Reacting to INEC's clarification, the ADC welcomed the Commission's position and accused Bala of attempting to mislead Nigerians. The party said the matter had gone beyond political disagreement and now bordered on an alleged attempt to deceive members of the public. The statement read, "The African Democratic Congress, ADC, welcomes the prompt clarification by INEC, which affirmed that the document circulated by Nofiu Bala, purporting to show that he had obtained the Commission's access code and uploaded candidates on behalf of the ADC for the 2027 general election, was forged, and that the claim itself was entirely false." Yeah, some piece of good news for members of the ADC after that appeal court judgment. Now INEC is here confirming that a total of 470 candidates of the ADC have had their credentials uploaded on INEC portal. So the other faction, led by Nofiu Gombe, would not be recognized by INEC. And I'm very sure that David Mark, Rauf Aregbesola, Atiku Abubakar, and a host of other members of the ADC will be very happy with this news, because I think the deadline was on Tuesday, which was yesterday.
Well, like you said, some piece of good news coming in for the Mark-led ADC. And I think this is just in conformity with what the court had ruled, that the Mark-led ADC should be recognized, even though the appeal court said do not recognize the award congresses.
Yeah.
Of course, again, INEC has the final say whether or not they want to wait for an appeal or not. But as it stands, they will deal with the recognized faction of the ADC, which is the Mark-led ADC. So let's see how far this will go at the end of the day. It would have been something else if the ADC had not uploaded their information, but they complied. And so it now behoves on INEC to follow through what the appeal court ruled on. But as it stands, INEC is saying we will only deal with the Mark-led ADC. And that again seems to lay credence to the fact that they probably have the authenticity that, you know, Nigerians are looking for, and will deal going forward with that faction of the party.
And Abimbola, one more thing. I think we should give credit to INEC. Now, ADC is not commending INEC for at least recognizing a faction of the ADC led by David Mark and Rauf Aregbesola.
They are not saying it as a favor.
Exactly. You know, when you lodge complaints and the needful are done, why not commend the body, the electoral body, for at least doing the needful?
Maybe they are waiting it through. They are waiting it out and just waiting to see what's going to happen at the
I'm
end
sure the
of
blood pressure of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar would have gone down now.
I know, right? Let's take the second news points this morning. Reps dump own state police bill, adopt Tinubu's version. The House of Representatives has resolved to withdraw its earlier state police bill and adopt the executive bill transmitted by President Bola Tinubu, signaling a major shift in the National Assembly's ongoing constitutional amendment process on one of Nigeria's most consequential security reforms. Speaker of the House, Tajuddin Abbas, announced the decision on Tuesday at the opening of the 2026 National Assembly Open Week in Abuja, saying the executive bill was more robust and more comprehensive than the version previously passed by the Green Chamber. The decision effectively halted plans to harmonize the House and Senate versions of the earlier proposal, with lawmakers now set to begin fresh legislative work on the President's proposal. Explaining the decision, Abbas said the executive proposal incorporated additional safeguards developed by a presidential committee chaired by the Chief of Staff to the President and former Speaker of the House, Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila. Abbas pledged the readiness of lawmakers to consider the President's proposals. The Speaker also dismissed concerns that the legislation was being hurried through the National Assembly without public input, assuring Nigerians that the bill would undergo full legislative scrutiny. According to him, the Parliament was aware of how power conducted itself in the absence of restraint, stressing that lawmakers have no intention of repeating that error. I think that's the thrust of the story here. Yesterday, the members of the House of Representatives decided to drop their own version of the state police bill and promised to work with that of the executive. According to them, a number of safeguard measures were also in the one sent in by Mr. President. So I think it makes their work a little bit less cumbersome, because you know how it works. The Senate would have done their own, the reps will do theirs, they'll come back to harmonize. But I think now they all will be working with just one bill from the executive, and they would need to look at all of the issues in there. But I like one thing that Speaker Abbas pointed out, and I think that also is very important, and that must be factored in, and that is the fact that isn't there any way Nigerians can have input into the bill before it is finally passed? Perhaps maybe when they get to their houses of assembly, there should be a public hearing where members of the public can actually attend the public hearing and have a proper breakdown of how this law is expected to work. Because at the end of the day, the state police would be to the benefit of Nigerians. And if you do not know what's going to work in your favor, how then do you ensure that it works? So as much as it's promised that this is not done in a hurry for any reasons, it will also be nice that Nigerians also have a say before this bill is finally passed into law.
Absolutely.
That should fall on the shoulders of the State House of Assemblies.
Well,
yes,
it should.
State House of Assembly, and this is democracy. The people must have a say, because those lawmakers at the federal and state levels, they are representing the people of their various constituencies. And, you know, the acceleration of this bill is something that is very encouraging, looking at the volume of security challenges that we are faced with as a country. And so we really do not have time on our hands. We need to do the needful, go through the bill so that all the flaws will be adjusted so that Mr. President can once and all sign his bill into law.
Absolutely. Joy?
Lagos plans 13,401 trees in 6 months. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu says the state planted 13,401 trees across its 5 administrative divisions in the first 6 months of 2026, representing 67% of its annual target of 20,000 trees. The governor said the remaining trees would be planted during the current rainy season, expressing confidence that Lagos would surpass its annual target by October. Represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Mrs. Abimbola Saliu Hundeyin, disclosed this during the 2026 Annual Tree Planting Day, organized by the Lagos State Parks and Gardens Agency. She said, according to the statement issued by the Head of Public Affairs LASPAC, Abiodun Adebayo, the governor said the state's tree planting target was part of efforts to expand its green infrastructure to address the effects of climate change. The governor also urged the chairmen of the 57 local government areas and local council development areas to serve as tree custodians by working closely with LASPAC to protect and monitor trees within the community. He also reminded residents that anyone who unlawfully fells a tree is required by the state to replace it with 5 others. That's basically it. Yesterday was Tree Planting Day, and it was commemorated across the 57 local council areas in the state. And so again, if anyone damages a tree, you have to replace it with 5.
Yeah, I think a lot of Lagos residents are not fully aware that you cannot cut a tree single-handedly. You must actually obtain permission from LASPAC to cut a tree, and they should actually be the ones, even if you cut it by yourself, you still must notify them so that they'll know what to do and how to advise you on how to go about it. But we do know that Lagos is doing all it can to sustain tree planting efforts. And part of what the governor also said yesterday through his representative was that it is not just about planting trees. It is also ensuring their sustenance, which means, you also need to nurture and ensure that you keep those trees as safe as possible.
And of course, we have no choice than to nurture these trees because we stand to gain a lot from these trees in terms of our health, in terms of the beautification of the environment. So at a grassroots level, I think we need to intensify more effort because some of the people at the grassroots do not really know or value the essence of planting these trees. So the local government chairmen, councillors at their ward levels will need to do more in educating these people to know the value of planting these trees.
Absolutely. And they will have to work closely also with the CDAs and the citizens in ensuring that residents key into this. Right, let's go onto the X platform this morning to take a look at...
Abimbola, can I please excuse myself for a while?
No, you cannot. No, you cannot. After all,
I'm not going to be part of today's hashtag, please.
Why? But then you were happy, were you not?
I'm not interested.
You have to be interested. You have to. So, a couple of young guys asked me yesterday afternoon, Ma, so who's going to win? And I said to them, my heart was with France, but I knew that Spain was going to do them some very bad thing yesterday. And Ajibola rubbed it in last night, and he kept saying Spain is on fire. Nobody even answered him. Everybody just went to sleep like, okay, we've heard you.
Oh my God.
So there we have it. Spain actually now cruising to the finals of the 2026 World Cup. I wonder what, unfortunately, I won't be here tomorrow. I wonder what Jibola will have to say tomorrow after that match between Argentina and England tonight. I know that if you have to fast tonight, you want to fast. You want Argentina to
lose.
To lose.
Yeah. Capital lose.
I'm not going to say anything, honestly, because and I don't even think I'm going to watch that match.
Abimbola, at some point yesterday, I had to switch off my TV and, went into my room to go and sleep because France played like nothing was at stake. And I started questioning myself, was it the same France that were scoring goals, defeating teams, countries, and they were treated like some boys who just started football yesterday.
For you. That's football for you.
France broke my heart anyway.
See? That's football for you. Sometimes you think that, you got it. But when you see certain things, you know that, let's just save our legs.
What is beyond you? But I must give it to Spain. They played well. Technically, yes. They were better than France.
I watched it too. Yes, too. Thank you.
Anyways, that's it. And like I always say, until the last whistle is gone.
Never say never.
Never say never. We'll take a quick break. When we return, of course, we have some guests in the house this morning who will be taking us through what it is they're doing and how impactful this will be to a community here in Lagos. That conversation is after the short break.